False start, Dallas.
Yes, do it again.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, once again to the Somewhere Else.
The Anything Else podcast at Somewhere Else, you dyslexic pig.
I'm your wonderful host, Mr. Olli Eldrick. Joined with me in the co-host chair is my wonderful partner, Mr. Alex Lints.
Not that way, partner. Stop this.
And in the producer chair, we have Mr. Dallas Outsider.
Hello, I'm Dallas Outsider.
And in the guest chair, in the hot seat today, we have the frontman of Banastronaut, engineer extraordinaire.
And my personal hero.
Mr. Adam Beitel. Adam, great to have you on, buddy.
Hello, boys. Cheers me up here.
It's
good to be here. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to have landed at somewhere else. Who knows where we could be?
Well, Adam, we know you moderately well.
Somewhat.
But the audience may not. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm 30, and I'm from Saskatoon. I've been here most of my life. I did briefly live in PA, so I'm technically not a degenerate townie. So, you know. I'm an engineer by trade. I do mechanical engineering, working for a company building potash miners and EVs and stuff. And for music things, I run my own solo project, which is just me. That's just for fun. I don't do anything at all with it, but I am very proud of the album. And I front a band called Banastronaut, which is we'll call it a punk project, alt rock sort of, with some of my greatest friends. And we put out an album in July that kicks ass. I'm also really proud of that one. It's been a heck of a year. And then I also play bass for Caitlin Lehner as well, who's a friend, and gives me some pretty sweet opportunities.
Well, that's pretty cool.
Well, I mean, we love you. We love all your musical projects, man. But, like, for the love of God, can you talk about anything else?
Wow. See, here's the thing. I'm not really, like, an expert kind of guy. I am just riddled with my ADHD, so I'm the kind of guy who jumps back and forth from different kind of hobbies for long periods at a time. So I have a pretty good modicum of knowledge in a lot of different areas.
A jack off of all trades kind of thing.
That is exactly me, I think. I got a couple expertise areas, but you know.
Well, I thought you would be talking a little bit about your engineering. I'm going to go for the straight man answer. I assume people are going to talk about their jobs.
That's so boring.
I know it's boring, but it's safe.
Okay.
And see, like, he's kind of told me a couple of ideas that he had or whatever, but, like, I still think as a curveball, like, he's in a punk band. Like, surely the man was a skater at one point. He's going to talk about skateboarding.
No, just fingerboarding.
The Tech Decks.
Oh.
Dallas, what do you think Adam's going to talk about?
I don't know. Probably like Kingdom Hearts or something.
Oh, for God's sake.
Ooh.
What are you going to lay it on us, Adam.
I actually don't game very much. What I do, though,
do.
Nice. Put it on the I actually play the New York Times crossword every day.
Nice.
Interesting.
Are you good at it?
I am getting to the point that I'm quite good at it, I would say. It took me 2 years of intensive crossword training to get to this point, but I think I can do it pretty well. I'm to the point that like a Friday or Saturday usually will take me 30 to 45 minutes now, which I think is pretty good, you know, more than the average person.
What's your record time?
On what?
On the
Do you want me to pull up my stats?
What's the fastest time you've ever finished a crossword?
Okay, so that's a complicated question, Alex.
Okay, tell us why.
So the New York Times crossword is kind of like the metric for the American Standard crossword. And they rate things based on difficulty by day. So you'll start your week with a Monday crossword. A Monday crossword's super easy. I think my record for that is like 5.5 minutes or something. And then you go through the week. Tuesdays, a little more complicated. Wednesdays, starting to get kind of fun. I think my record for a Wednesday is probably like 9 minutes or so. Thursday is where you get like weird things happening. Like you'll have a rebus. I'll get into that later. You'll have a rebus, which is kind of weird. Or some sort of gimmick, you know, like, well, this was a Sunday, but they might have the Olympic rings on the crossword grid and they're colored. And so you'd have your top answer would be Robin, but it's in the red ring. So it's actually Red Robin and it's clued as American burger chain. So it's complicated stuff like that. That would be what you'd find on a Thursday. And then Friday is wickedly difficult. usually themeless specifically. And then Saturday can be basically anything, but also wicked difficult. And those crosswords are all 15 by 15 squares. And then on a Sunday, you'd get up to 21 by 21 squares. So they're just bigger, roughly a Wednesday to Thursday difficulty. So my records for the first couple days are like 6, 7, 8, 13 minutes. And then I think I finished a Friday in 17 minutes once and a Saturday in 19. And then Sundays are like 30 minutes minimum.
Do you ever get... The problem is like getting good at it and doing it faster. Do you get more of a reward from that, or are you ever just like, man, I used to be able to like pad out my lunch hour with this, and now
They need to step up
I'm
their
breezing
game.
through.
Seriously, it was a significant undertaking for the first little while because I started doing these, I started doing crosswords probably 5 or 6 years ago, and didn't do all that great. You know, I could do the easy ones, but you do a Friday or Saturday, and I had a little book that I was filling in, and basically I would just do the book as I was going to bed at night, and it would make me fall asleep immediately. Nothing makes me fall asleep, but crosswords do. And I would get like 2 clues filled in on the medium puzzles, and then I'd fall asleep. So it would take me 3 to 4 months just to finish one puzzle. I was like, this isn't sustainable. But then 2 years ago, in like March, I realized that the New York Times subscription is $30 a year for the games. I was
not
like,
bad.
that's nothing.
Yeah.
So I went in and then I decided, all right, my goal, I'm going to finish every single puzzle I start. And I did that, but for these harder puzzles, I had to look up a lot at the end. And sometimes they would take me up to 2 or 3 hours to actually get through them. And that was like looking at my phone. There's a little counter of how long you're actually looking at the crossword puzzle app. And it took me a long time to actually get them to me finishing almost everything myself. Like every now and then, you know, I got to look up 3 or 4 letters at the end of the puzzle, but I got to that point now, and now I have gotten it to a streak of like 4 months where I've solved the puzzle of the day within 24 hours
That's
without
good.
using any hints. So
Yeah.
I'm like,
I think that's the thing though. It does take you a while to get into like obviously low end newspaper ones, or the ones you get in like the puzzle books in the airport and stuff. They're a bit more simple. But like some of the more advanced crosswords, depending where you are in the world, have a real language to them that it does take you a while to get used to.
they do. It's called crossword ease.
Yeah. Now, one thing you mentioned, you said you were going to get back to, so I'm going to bring you back to it
Oh,
now.
yeah.
Is the rebus.
The
Do you wanna-
rebus is cool.
Do you want to talk us through that?
That's-
Dallas, listen.
A rebus specifically is when you have one square that you put multiple letters in. So one of my favorite puzzles from this last year was a rebus puzzle. It ran on a Thursday, and it ran on Evel Knievel's birthday. And the way that it was done, basically, they had this puzzle, and all puzzles have to have symmetry of some sort. Usually it's rotational symmetry, so you turn it on its center axis, and it would be the same if you spun it, 180 degrees.
Yeah.
But this one had mirror symmetry, so left and right sides the same.
Oh.
And what they had set it up was in the center 3 squares at the bottom, they had Columbus. So bus was all in one square. And then I think they had what this answer is, and it was rebus. And then another one that ended in, it was like description of what's in a class. And it was Scylla.
Bus.
There you go.
I
Guys
was
are
jumping
crushing this.
over all the buses.
Yeah, so then they had
Yeah.
Evel Knievel's name in circled letters jumping over these 3 buses. And that was their
That's
Rebus
super
crossword.
cool.
It was really sweet. So then in the app, they actually had a little motorcycle guy that they had just jumped in and followed the trail of circled letters jumping over the buses. It was a fantastic puzzle. Best one of the year.
Do you ever go back to like the puzzle book crosswords, or is it New York Times only?
I do still have that puzzle book, and it is a New York Times puzzle book, but I haven't had time because I've been spending so much of my time doing these damn puzzles. But now that I'm at a point that I can finish them pretty consistently, usually I'll do them the night before the day of, because they come out like 8 or 10 p.m. the night before, so I'll just do them as I go to bed. And then usually Thursdays through Saturdays, I won't finish that night, and then I'll just finish them up in the morning.
Now, I know what this is because it's a very British. I didn't know it was a very British thing. I thought this was a universal crossword thing. because my grandpa used to do it, and I used to try my best to do it with him, and I never got used to it. But I want to know if you've come across it, because people who like crosswords have.
Yep.
Is the cryptic crossword.
Yeah, I was worried you were bringing this up.
Now, I'm not going to quiz you on it too much, because I genuinely, in all my 28 years, I still don't get it. If you ever want a good example of what, listener over there, if you ever want a good example of what a cryptic crossword is, look up the Inside Number 9 episode, Riddle of the Sphinx. It's a great bit of television.
Or just watch Ricky Gervais's old XFM thing and Carl Pilkington's Rockbusters segment.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Do you guys have a place I can take notes or like?
But a cryptic crossword is, so for Dallas, it's for you.
Wait, Alex, you said Rockbusters. Is that technically a music thing?
No.
No.
I know, actually, technically it was, because it was all music.
String it anyways. Hey, cheers every time.
Cheers.
It's important.
It's important to stay hydrated.
That's one of
in
my
this hot
rules
summer.
when we're playing beer pong. Is you have to cheers before every drink.
Very
Just
also-
gentlemanly,
Yeah, you have to.
But yeah, cryptic crossword is effectively it's not like what is the capital of so and so, and you put the answer in. It will give you a sentence, but within that sentence will be certain things. If it starts with a certain letter or a certain word, it's reversed, and it's all these different things, and none of it makes sense to me.
Yeah, it's
and
very
people
confusing.
talk to you about it like it just is so clear, and it's not. And it's one of the very few very nerdy things that I've never even got a little understanding of. There are things I don't care about, but I kind of get at least a surface level understanding. I don't understand cryptic crosswords.
I'd really love to try one of those. I've been thinking about it.
Whilst I don't agree
give it
with
a
a lot of
go.
the rest of the, well, I'm not going to we don't bring politics in, but aside from leaving the politics side of the newspaper, the Telegraph has a very good cryptic crossword if you can ever access that one.
I mean, I'll do anything for crosswords.
Yeah.
Give me something to like feed my brain.
Yeah, the Telegraph cryptic crossword was what my grandpa used to do, and it's what I would look over and be like, I don't understand any of this.
I want to do a couple. Maybe I will do one tonight and report back to you guys. And you can add like a little addendum to the end and be like, Adam failed miserably at his cryptic crossword. It was so hard.
So you mentioned as well about like being, the whole like ADHD jumping from one thing to another.
Yeah.
So is this? Do you think that the crossword thing is the current obsession, or is this something that's been going on for a longer time than like the past few months?
Being that it's been like eight or 6 or whatever years, I think it's sticking around.
That's a full hobby at that
right?
point.
It's
yeah.
like guitar has stuck around for a little while. There you go.
So, have you had any interest in other puzzles before crosswords, or was crosswords the first one that really stuck to you? Do you think?
I did like logic puzzles for a while. That was a phase for me, but they weren't as easily available, and I don't know. It was just hard to find good ones.
Did you love Cranium as a child?
No, I think Kadu.
Yes.
That's what it was all about.
I remember having like every one of my friends had Kadu.
Really?
I don't know if I ever played it.
I had Kadu.
Yeah. It
It was always just one of the ones that's kind of like Catan. Everyone has it, not everyone has played it.
Yeah.
Or
I
the
don't
Game of
remember it
Life.
super well, but I do remember playing Balderdash. Do you guys play
Oh, yeah.
Balderdash?
Yes.
Right?
Oh, very
Same
good
sort of
one.
thing. It was a word-based game. So I was pretty into that sort of stuff. And, I mean, Trivial Pursuit, I never got into or anything like
Well,
that.
you're gonna get into it later, but we don't want to.
Well, that one's just too hard. That's like direct knowledge that nobody has anymore.
Where do you land on word searches then?
That's more Dallas' kind of level.
Yeah?
Is it?
Is that your vibe?
We're saying you're stupid,
Oh. I get it.
which you clearly didn't get, thus proving the point.
There is nothing wrong with a word search. I personally have never found joy in a word search. But the New York Times Games app did, like, 3 weeks ago come out with this thing called Strands, which is basically a word search. But every cell in the square is part of one word. And you can just go any direction and find something. It's very cool. I'm having a good time with it.
I've been enjoying like the New York Times like other plethora of games. I must admit, I haven't tried the word search yet. Not the word search, it's
Yep,
the crossword.
the Strands.
But yeah, New York Times have got some good.
Connections.
You go for all the other ones with like Connections and Wordle and all
I just
that.
do Strands and Connections. Wordle, when it started, I did, to get along with the trend that everybody was doing. But then, I had a streak of 100 days, and I was like, well, this isn't challenging enough. So
Have you tried any of the other like Wordle variants though? Like one of my couple of ones I love are like Maportal and Flaggle.
Yeah, I did. I did Nerdle for a bit.
Which one's Nerdle?
It's the one where you make a math equation.
Yes, that one was. I couldn't do it. I'm not smart enough.
I know. I say a lot, like, as an engineer, you expect that you're doing math all the time, and realistically, I don't do specific math very much. But then last month, I spent like 4 full days doing one equation. It's like, it's not that common, but every now and then it comes up, and you do some math. And I do love math, so I did that one. But I've never been into that. My roommate and best friend got really into the Worldle, so I hear them doing geography all the time, but I cannot do geography to save my life. I can't remember anything.
Geography is one of my big ones.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Where does the Rhine River run then, Ollie?
Mostly through Germany, but it obviously goes.
Damn, he's so good. See, I only know the Rhine River from crosswords.
Well, so then how do you know he's right? Maybe he's bullshitting you.
Because it's always clued as like German river or like river from Steinbeck to.
I do like the idea that
I don't know, Munich to something.
I love the idea that you're aware of all these concepts through crosswords, but you have no context in which to put them.
Exactly. Is Los Angeles to Nashville east southeast? I guess. Ish. I guess it's more east, but either way.
With the New York Times crossword though, like, is it always written by the same person?
No. They have
And like,
just a plethora of different
Are the
contributors.
authors for that? Are you familiar enough with them at this point that they're kind of almost like baseball umpires for you, where
Kinda,
you're like know
yeah.
what to expect from?
I haven't been there for long enough to actively know a lot of people, but like you see a lot of names like Robin Weintraub come up quite a bit. There's one dude who's submitted like 66,000 puzzles or something. It's bonkers, but like amongst all the major outlets. So you do notice a couple creators keep popping up, but the real key thing with the New York Times crossword is that they have an editor who kind of determines
And is that
what
the
the
same
final
editor?
puzzle is.
Is it just the game editor?
Yeah, it's one editor for just the crosswords. And it's since 1993, so since my birth, it's been this guy named Will Shorts.
Oh yeah, I've heard the name. Will.
Everybody knows Will Shorts. Like, he is an icon of American pop culture and whatnot just because of this crossword. He started this crossword puzzle tournament every year. That is the biggest one in the world. It's pretty incredible. So I like, I knew who Will Shorts was like 10 years ago. I watched this documentary Wordplay that one of my engineering profs recommended to me, and we kind of bonded over crosswords for a bit, and it was crazy. But I started to get to know, this guy's important through this, even before I really paid attention to what these crosswords were. But this dude's just an icon. And then he had a stroke 4 months ago or something, and Joel Fagliano, I don't actually know how to pronounce his last name, but he took over as the editor because he's been constructing the mini crossword for years, and he's just like kind of the guy that does that one thing. So now he's been promoted from 5x5 or 4x4 to 15x15, and he's done a good job. You definitely did notice a difference in the puzzles, I think, when he came in. When he started doing the editing, I think I noticed that the Fridays and Saturdays got significantly harder for like a couple months, to the point like I was having trouble finishing them. I'd have to look up the end results of it. But they've sort of tapered off, and then they got too easy for a bit. And now I think they're kind of in a happy
Just
zone.
overcorrection each way.
Yeah,
and then,
it's just like with everything in life, it's always a pendulum.
I mean, I'm sure if you go back to like 1993 Will Short stuff, it's all over the place. I bet it's all scattered.
I'd be really curious actually to go back and do those. They obviously didn't have internet archives back then, but I think that'd be cool.
Oh, I'm sure somebody's got an archive of them. It's the New York Times crossword. Like, people get
Probably.
really into that stuff.
Oh, they do.
Now, I was going to say, are you into it enough that would you say that if you saw Robin Weintraub or like Will Shorts,
No.
would you like the heart start palpitating? Would you
Absolutely
Would you
not.
ask for an autograph and stuff like that?
No, I'm not that far in. I think
it's coming.
if I constructed one puzzle myself, if
Ooh.
I had constructed more and like really dug into it, I think maybe then I'd start being like, whoa, these are these people, but you don't see their faces.
Would you ever consider submitting one?
Maybe someday. I made this one as a concept for my brother and sister-in-law's wedding. It was kind of just like, here'd be a fun thing to throw on a table that people could discuss and you know just have fun.
That's a great idea, actually.
I thought it was awesome.
Well, if we ever expand this into the puzzle sphere, like I think we could get you on as the resident crossword editor.
You let me know. I would be so happy to edit some crosswords. The end result of that one, they decided it was too difficult. I aimed it for like a light Wednesday, and I think that's where
Light Wednesday.
I think that's where it ended up. We gave it to my brother, and it took him about an hour to finish it with like help from people. I was like, that's kind of where I wanted it to end up. But I really like the seed clues in that, which are, you build a crossword based on, you'd put some phrases in that you really want to be in there, and then you build the fill of the other words around it.
Yeah.
So I really liked my theme clues in that, and I don't know. I kind of want to maybe explore that and submit something.
I look forward to seeing what happens with that in the future, to be fair.
I'll let you guys know if I get it submitted. The mid-theme part was Costco hot dog.
Nice.
It's the best.
Surely you could get one in the Star Phoenix. Like, surely.
See, I don't know, because the Star Phoenix, I think, I
They've-
don't know who
They might have
does...
some big league guy already.
Yeah, I don't know who does their editing or anything like that, or where they get them from. I think they just pull them from somewhere else.
I would say you could always go for PA's newspaper, but
I'll get you
Did
in
they
the
lose their newspaper?
what's that?
Did they lose their newspaper?
No, it's just the people of PA are.
Ah,
I could get you in the local newspaper back in my small town.
that's a start. You know what?
Who the fuck is this Adam Beitel guy?
It's pronounced Beitel, by the way.
Interesting.
Yeah, I know it doesn't.
Is it
go,
actually?
It doesn't go with the grammar rules.
Is it actually vital?
Yeah.
I mean, no, it does go with German.
Oh, good. Okay, then I feel better.
It's just the fact that for the whole time I've known you, I've referred to it. You've never corrected me before this.
I'm really bad at it. It doesn't matter.
And because we know quite a few Adams, you occasionally have to be.
Beats.
I've been calling him Beetle the whole time.
Please. Oh God.
When have you ever said that?
In his own head, I guess.
That was my elementary school nickname, and I've still got trauma.
Dallas has only ever referred to him as that guy from that project that does the stuff that we can't talk about.
We can't talk about it?
We can, but there's consequences.
Oh, not
to-
in this. Oh, gotcha. Oh. I thought you guys were just like, no, Adam is in general just a black guy, like a black magic kind of person. Like, we can't talk about it.
Can't
that
say his name three times.
We've developed the group of us have developed a really small but very severe case of taboo where we can't say certain things. But no, I do want to say as well, this podcast is a really nice way of learning a lot about other musicians and stuff, and who they are behind the guitar or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's also a great
Love it.
opportunity. It's a great opportunity that we have to educate our producer, Mr. Dallas Outsider, because he's an audio tech and he's a very good audio tech, but that's really his entire worldview. So it's really good to be able to get people on here that are experts in different subjects and kind of give him a bit of a leg up in the education he may have never had. So Dallas, do you have any questions for Mr. Beitel here about the crosswords?
Have you heard of the term crossroads?
Crossroads? Yeah, like the iconic movie starring, is Britney Spears in that one?
No, I'm talking about the Cody Rhodes finishing move in WWE.
That makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, not aware of that at all, but I would love you to tell me some more.
Jesus Christ.
Is Cody Rhodes a wrestler? I'm taking this?
Yeah.
Every
Okay,
time
hold up. Are you guys going to have Dallas on here to talk about his wrestling knowledge?
Eventually, yeah.
That would be fantastic.
Man's an encyclopedia.
Every time we ask Dallas, have you got any questions for the guest? It's inevitably a
we had
WWE.
our friend Dan on episode 1, and he's a geologist, and he was like, "Hey, Dan, what do you think of Dwayne the Rock Johnson?"
And we've kind of been stuck on that track ever since.
No, I'd be very interested. The Funky Moose podcast had a local wrestler
Yeah,
on.
Mike,
And
was on.
Mike. And
Yeah.
it was one of my favorite episodes. I was like, I don't know anything about this. This is awesome. And then I started dating my girlfriend around November, and I was like, hey, do you want to go to this local wrestling event on December 23rd? And she said, I guess. And then I was so hyped up to go to it, and I realized that I was listening to the podcast, and they were like, it's on the 23rd. but they filmed the podcast earlier. So it was actually on November 23rd, and I completely missed out on it. And I was broken as a man.
Adam, I'll tell you what, like, we'll keep an eye out for some local wrestling. We'll go.
You let me know.
We'll make
'Cause
it a
when
four-way
Food
date.
Truck Wars was here, like, I don't know, 5 years ago, I went and there was wrestling. It was sick. And then obviously this year they didn't have wrestling.
I would love to go to, like, because, like, wrestling for a long time, we cut it, after this, we're cutting it. Wrestling for a long time was basically regional and stuff like that, so it's now national with the WWE and AEW.
Cool.
But it'd be nice to go back to its roots and see some, like, local, homegrown, like, just a guy who has been divorced for a while and hasn't taken it
Exactly.
well.
And I specifically want to go with Dallas so that he tells me all of the history. I assume you know it for local guys.
Yeah, probably.
I told you guys about that time, the Portage thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, when my dad and I forget why we were in
Oh,
Winnipeg.
yeah.
When my dad and I were just in Winnipeg at something, we were watching TV in the hotel room, and there was wrestling in Portage. And we were like, oh, this is funny, and we were just watching this. And then all of a sudden, AJ Styles comes out. Like, they'd paid AJ Styles to come to Portage La Prairie for no reason.
He's a very big wrestler.
That sounds accurate.
It was just the strangest thing.
Okay, we're going to move on from this. Like, we've had the second little bit of passion project with the wrestling, but thank you so much for telling us a little bit about crosswords.
Hey, you guys don't want to just talk for like 3 or 4 hours?
I do, but I've got to be editorial about this a little bit, man. Like, Will Shorts, I'm sure, has had to do some things where he's been like, guys, it's a great idea, but I've got to cut it back a little bit.
And we've got our other segments.
We
to
do.
get to.
The
Right.
first one, I'm going to give you the name of a real historical person.
Mm-hmm.
I am not expecting you to know who this person is. I want you to give me who you think they are based on vibes and names.
God, I hope so
Your
bad that I know who
person
this is.
your person is Kanan Banana.
See, you want me to say that he's the inventor of bananas.
I mean, I don't want you to
We
say
don't.
anything.
He DMs in D&D. He's not trying to suggest you do anything.
Okay, he's not actually. He is the guy who composed the Batman theme song. Yeah,
The original 19...
You mean like the
original 1960. Ba-na-na-na-na-na-na.
Ah!
He was trying to sneak a subtle reference of himself in there, but he wasn't slick. I caught him.
Yeah,
Music.
music.
Yeah.
Really?
We're strict, Adam. We're
That's
strict.
clearly Batman coded, not music
The
coded.
next thing is I do like to, I mean, the whole thing so far has been thinking on your feet, but we do like to make sure our guests are able to think on their feet as well as a 22-year-old accounting student from Southwest Tennessee. And so we make sure to always include the Miss World segment.
Okay.
This was a question asked in the Miss Central Texas Teen 2022 competition.
Sorry, let me just undo my button here.
No worries. Yeah, thank you. Do you think parents should be punished for the crimes of the child?
Wow, that is a good reference and really interesting because recently, I think like last month or maybe a couple months ago, parents were actually like convicted because their kid was a school shooter.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was fascinating.
Yeah.
Like unexpected. It's hard to say. What a complex question. Do you want to get into some real ethical things here?
Just to a Miss World level.
Okay, to a Miss World level. I think they have some responsibility. If like, wait, how old is the child here?
It just said this is all I've been given.
bit.
by-
All right, I'm gonna say nobody can do anything significant until they're 13, anyways. And I'm gonna say the parents have some responsibility, but like to a fine level. We're not putting them in jail or anything. We're just being like, you know,
Yeah.
maybe
That's so wild.
maybe
this was
be
even asked
more
of.
careful with your last
Yeah, I
kids.
mostly just wanted to include this because this was asked again at Miss Central Texas Teen.
Right now?
No, like in
Like
2020,
recently?
in 2022. This
Yeah,
was,
that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, like this is not. This wasn't asked to like Miss World. This was not a like national.
This was not
one.
a presidential
This was a-
debate question.
Let's
This-
be clear. I'm not as good at thinking on my feet as a candidate in the Miss Teen Idaho competition. That is a specific skill that I do not have.
But we're going to move on to the next one for copyright reasons. This is Are You Smarter Than Dallas Outsider? This is Dallas Outsider here.
Excellent.
So we're going to ask you some questions from recent edition of Trivial Pursuit
Wait,
by
hang on.
recent.
Can I ask a first question?
Yeah.
Dallas, is your actual last name Outsider?
No.
Okay.
No.
Because that would be so sick and it doesn't make sense. It's too cool. Okay, keep going.
Yeah, so we're going to ask you some questions from a relatively recent edition of Trivial Pursuit. And by recent, I mean they're from 1993.
Yep.
So a little bit older than you.
No, literally the year I was born.
Okay, so you
Let's do
should know
this.
these. You were
No,
there.
I was so into it as a baby.
So it's best of 5. You get first dibs. But if you get it wrong, we pass it to Dallas, and we'll see how that
Do
goes.
I get wings if I get it right?
You get the honor of being smarter than a man who knows very little outside of Kingdom Hearts
Okay,
and
I'm gonna
WWE.
order wings either way.
If you win, you get wings of your choice. If you lose, you get the suicide wings.
My choice would have been the suicide
Good
wings.
choice, they are good.
He got you, Dallas.
Yes, they're
He
actually
called your
delicious.
bluff.
Actually, where'd Jordan go?
We'll get her when we see her.
All right.
All right, fellas. So, and keep in mind, this is from 1993 specifically. What credit card made a deal to picture NASCAR drivers on its cards?
On its cards. I feel like I would have seen a MasterCard logo pretty obviously, even though I don't watch any car racing. I'm going to say Visa because Amex, for the most part, I can only think of the Trojan
The classic
icon
one, yeah.
thing on the black card. And as far as I know, there's no other cards.
So you're going with Visa.
So I'm going to go with Visa.
It is. Oh,
Is he
No.
wrong? Is he incorrect?
it's MasterCard.
What? Give Dallas a try.
Yeah, then that's what I was gonna do, and then you made me panic, and I was like, "Am I supposed to just read it now?"
Okay, we'll use that. That's okay.
It's a wash. Nothing happened.
That's a warm-up question. We'll do that as a warm-up. So
All right,
the
we'll
first question
peg
starts
that
now.
as one suicide wing that I have.
What New York City theater institution celebrated its 100th anniversary in 1993?
I don't get options.
No,
No, you do not.
it's not the New York Times crossword. I just
Well,
thought.
I mean, the only known one is the only really known one is Broadway, but West End also, I think, is that London? I'm looking at Ollie for help.
I'm not giving you help. I'm just gonna watch you squirm.
I'm just gonna say is Broadway a theater
It's
institution?
Broadway.
It is
Okay,
Broadway.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right, then
So
I'm
that's-
going with
okay,
Broadway.
One
Okay.
nothing.
All right.
And then
I also am really into musicals. See this whole thing where you
Drink.
No, whatever. We'll take a drink.
All right, gents. Whose life and times were examined by the Manhattan-based Bubba magazine
Bubba
in
magazine.
1993?
Okay, well, there's Bubblegum Shrimp, obviously.
Let him cook.
I will say that Forrest Gump was released in 1994.
Yep. There. Wow, you know this fact. Okay, there's Bubba Watson, who is a PGA Tour professional. There is definitely a football player or baseball player named Bubba.
100%. I'm
Yeah.
not doubting that at
Yeah,
all.
I know this. But what
The magazine is just
Obviously,
called Bubba Magazine, by the way.
the only choice that I have to go with here is the inventor of Hubba Bubba magazine, Howard Hubba.
It's Bill Clinton.
Son of a bee.
What did I tell you?
not
Adam?
giving
When
Dallas-
in doubt, Bill Clinton.
You're not giving Dallas the chance to
Yeah,
answer.
yeah. You
All
didn't
right.
get me the options.
Crap.
Dallas, who do you think it was?
Bill Clinton.
Okay,
Okay,
that's
1-1. Wow! You're getting caught up quick here.
Yeah, that's fair. I should have known that one.
Question 3.
What U.S. championships allowed pros to compete against amateurs on the way to the 1994 Winter Olympics?
The TV show Pros vs. Joes. I think I got it right.
Dallas?
Wait, what sports or what?
What U.S. championship allowed pros to compete against amateurs on the way to the 1994 Winter Olympics?
Fucking the welterweight boxing championship.
U.S. figure skating.
Oh.
Oh yeah, winter. Fuck. Yeah.
I was actually.
Honestly, the fact that
what was that
I
demo
saw
sport that was like ski figure skating? I think
figure
ski
skiing?
dancing, maybe.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, are you talking about ice dancing?
I was gonna guess that. No, it's on skis.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah.
It's horrible.
Ooh, I need to try this out.
Think about it.
And then, what question is this for?
This is for.
Okay. What 63-year-old golfer won $190,000 in the senior skins game in 1994? Or 3, I mean.
In what year?
1993.
And he was how old?
63. He's actually a very famous golfer.
I know. but-
Arguably not for his golf, though.
Oh, I don't know who this
Okay,
is.
I'm gonna say it was Arnold Palmer.
It's Arnold Palmer.
2-1.
Thank you very much. I had Gary Player, Jack Nicklaus, and Arnold Palmer
Just-
in my head,
just
and
a
because
small-
you said not famous for his
Just
golf.
a small aside. Do you know what? When it comes to the mocktail that is the Arnold Palmer, do you know what
Yes.
happens if you add booze to it? Do you know what it's called?
I don't.
A John Daly.
That is so correct. I was almost gonna guess John Daly, but then you said 1993, and I was like, not quite correct.
And this is the final question.
Okay. What movie maker's name is in front of the title The Nightmare Before Christmas?
Nightmare Before Christmas. What movie maker?
Yeah.
Okay, it was directed by Tim Burton. Is that what we're going with?
Is that what you're going with?
I'm going with Tim Burton.
It's Tim Burton.
It
Yeah,
wasn't
I was-
directed by Tim Burton.
It wasn't. You're correct.
It was Henry
just
Selick.
Tim Burton's.
He
Yes,
produced,
he produced
it.
It was a Tim Burton joint.
Yep.
Yeah.
You are Tim Burton.
Is that what Spike Lee always said? It's a Spike Lee joint?
I love that you know that fact. Very few
I
people know that
remember, I
fact.
have a film degree. I taught film for 3 years.
I forgot that you
Taught people how to safely use cameras.
Yeah, I
Let's
did.
not
I
overdo
really
this.
did. Yeah. Shout out University of
Okay,
Winchester.
wait, hang on. I do have a legitimate question here because we didn't give Dallas a lot of chances to answer there.
Yeah, I kind of shafted you, Dallas. I'm sorry.
What? Wait, what was my score there?
2-1 to you.
Or 3-1.
3-1. Sorry, 3-1.
Yeah.
So I got 3 correct.
Yeah.
Let that stand. Is that the record?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all I want. If anybody beats it, you're having me back on.
Will do.
Just for that portion.
Adam's just gonna research 1993.
Everything in my life has just been about trying to be good at trivia.
Honestly, same. Like that's
Right?
like if I lose a pub quiz, I go home. Like
Ollie, are
I
we starting a
It's
trivia team
called-
right now?
we have
I
been.
would- I
We've
would
been
love
Alex
to.
and I've been trying to set up like an all-star trivia team recently.
Guys, get me in there.
100%.
Well, to
My-
be fair, he would cover some of our blanks. Did
My
you know
last,
golf?
my last trivia team was named Quizzin' is Ironic. Isn't like it?
Now we're talking.
But like that, I feel like is enough to give me street cred.
100%.
Adam, you have a lot more street cred than us to start with. You're already gonna.
We did win the Cohen's trivia one time, but it was because 2 of our moms came to help us. It was very helpful.
Well, jokes on you. None of our mothers live here, so they can't help us now. Actually, your mum
You're
does.
basically a mom. Like you got
Yeah.
mom energy.
Shut the fuck up. Anyway, we're now moving on to this quickfire round. We ask the same questions to every person. This is just to create a psychological profile of our guest for our
In case you go on a
lovely,
killing
lovely
spree, we
readers.
can give it to the FBI.
That makes sense. Yeah.
So,
okay.
first question is, what's your favorite Tom Hanks movie?
Favorite Tom Hanks movie? Catch Me If You Can.
Ooh,
Love
good
it.
choice.
one.
Not had that one yet. It is honestly one of my favorites.
Excellent. Amazing movie.
Best scene?
Best scene
Yeah,
in that movie? Oh, I don't know. I haven't watched that movie in a long time.
He said we could not catch him, but we caught him.
I would say probably the confrontation scene in the like boiler room or whatever. That's sweet.
It's a good bit.
Sticks in you.
Second question: which cereal leaves the best milk?
Leaves the best milk. Fascinating question. Do I have to answer this fast?
No, you can take your time. You ruminate for a little second.
I didn't have a lot of sugary cereal, but actually, I'm gonna say Captain Crunch.
Yeah.
Leaves
Interesting.
incredible milk, but that's because I love corn. I just think that's really sticking with me. But I did, following Christina Tosi's Momofuku milk bar recipe, I made some cereal milk based on her recipe with
Okay.
like toasted corn flakes and sugar and powdered milk and stuff, and it was
Interesting.
pretty incredible. So
So you're going with homebrew.
homebrew is the best, but I'm gonna stick with corn with Captain Crunch because
Okay.
I just like that combination.
Dallas.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's the right
We always
choice.
like to throw it to Dallas as our resident foodie, what he thinks. No, we're going to stick with morning or evening routines. I'm not going to judge you. When you shower, do you primarily face or turn away from the water?
Ooh, that is a really good
A
question.
lot of people say they rotate. I'm going to rephrase this. What's the default?
I do rotate, but like if I'm just standing in there for a minute and I'm just letting the heat hit me, it's always back to the water.
It's always back to the water.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Props for being ballsy enough to just go with an answer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sticking with the shower though.
I recently switched to bar soap instead.
I was bar soap for a little bit. I've moved back away from bar
Oh,
soap
man.
for a little bit. Mostly just for economic reasons. I just found some other stuff that was cheaper.
Yeah. that
Just
makes
whatever
sense.
I find under the sink that
There you
Lacey
go.
happened to buy.
But sticking with your shower routine, soap or shampoo first?
Shampoo first. You got to go top to bottom. I used to do it just like whatever, but then I was
Back in
like,
my wild younger
yeah,
days.
I was like, I like the smell of my soaps. I feel like that's the last scent I want on me.
I asked this one. Everyone always says shampoo first, like any other answers are idiotic. Problem is, like, if I'm getting into the shower and I'm absolutely reeking, like I've been doing some housework or whatever, or some garden work, And there's a pong about me.
Yeah.
I want to get that off me as soon as possible.
Yeah,
so
but
I'm
the
gonna.
shampoo's gonna work its way down.
It's not enough, man. And I'm gonna be. If I've got my arms up like this, you think I want that near me? No.
Okay, that does make sense. Do you guys ask people if they wash their legs too?
No, we don't get that.
You
do
should. No, see, that's a really interesting thing. I feel like there was a debate on the internet.
I do wash my legs. They're definitely like the probably the bit I wash. Like I put the least effort into.
Yeah.
But I'm still washing them.
See, my leg washing is like whoop whoop.
Do you go between the toes though?
No, not usually.
Man, that's
You
what you know?
animal.
Well, there's the swimming in the pool, you know.
There's
So
not
a lot
enough-
of people there's this. It's a big debate of whether you need to wash your legs because the water in the soap is always washing down your legs.
I don't worry so much about my shinage, but I sometimes get if I don't like really go
Yeah.
to town on my thighs, like I'll sometimes get like spots and stuff. So I do try and
makes
keep
sense.
that on.
Dallas, you've got shins.
And Dallas, do you wash your legs in the shower?
Yeah, I just do the same thing. As
Just like
Did
a-
you shower? Did you shower before I picked you up today? Because
Yeah,
I noticed
I
your
did.
hair was wet.
yeah, I did.
Moving on though, this is one of my favorite questions. What is the object you own the most of that you are not collecting?
That I'm not collecting.
Not explicitly collecting.
In terms of like quantity of individual things?
Yeah,
Like, it's probably Lego.
Interesting.
you wouldn't say you're collecting the Lego?
Well, no,
You've just ended up with.
I just have the Lego because I love Lego, but like there's a bunch of small things, so I probably have the most of those. I don't know. I don't really collect anything. I don't know. Come back to me in a week after
Finished crosswords.
after friends of me who have listened to this, maybe they'll be like, Adam, you absolute idiot. You have so many of these things. Why did I pour this that bad?
That's cool. That's a Prague pour. If you guys check it, they'll be like, "That's a good pour." I don't trust the checks. This is another good one. What is your guilty pleasure fast food? Something that you know is not you're not a good person for ordering, but you're gonna.
Every now and then, I will stop at Arby's, and I'm gonna order myself a roast beef and cheese and a chicken cordon bleu sandwich
No.
with curly fries and a buffalo chicken slider.
Interesting.
Just because I'm just like, today I'm making the decision to just not give a damn.
My favorite thing is you're the second person to say Arby's.
Yeah,
'cause it
Will
does-
from Landfall also
Yeah,
had some thoughts
it
on
doesn't
Arby's.
feel like you should be eating it, but it actually it doesn't make you feel terrible. I think.
I think it's
But-
is it so I've still never eaten Arby's. We will do a group Arby's session at
Yeah,
some point.
that'd be nice.
But I know there's a social stigma around Arby's still. So I'm always worried to go in at this point. I'm
Remember-
worried to ask people to take me there.
Yeah.
I don't want them to think I'm poor.
Arby's is risk. I have gone to Arby's like a couple years back before when I was in PA. I went to Arby's once before we left, and it was horrible. There was something wrong with the fries, and then I moved to
That's the least.
Saskatoon.
The fries are the least of your concern.
Well, no, the rest was fine, but like the fries were actively inedible. Like something was wrong with the potatoes, and then I ate at Arby's in Saskatoon, and it was like that again, like 2 years later. Still go back though.
So, have you got food poisoning then from Arby's? would you say? Or do you know anyone who?
I don't know that I've ever gotten food poisoning. Like I don't think I've ever thrown up from food, and I'll eat some weird stuff. that is my thing. But I don't think I've ever gotten food poisoning. I can't remember throwing up from food.
Fair enough.
specifically.
This is my last question for you in the quick fire round. It's one that we missed on the last few podcasts, but we did say we were going to include it, so it's the return of it.
It's an homage to Dallas's other podcast, Too Many Co-Hosts.
Amazing.
And the question is, ghosts? Question mark.
Okay. Number one, don't ghost people. It's really mean. Very rude. Give somebody an explanation, just like, sorry, I don't care about you or your life. That's nicer. Number two, I've never personally had a ghost experience.
Do you
I have
want to?
talked to friends who I believe who seem to be telling me the truth, who have had legitimate ghost experiences. And I don't believe in ghosts whatsoever. But I don't really see the point in giving them an avenue to get into your life, you know? It's like, don't open that door.
Exactly. Like for me, ghosts don't exist until I watch a horror movie.
Exactly.
And then I'm terrified of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Had some
All right,
Had
Alex,
some
you
nights
got-
I didn't
you
want
got
to
the
go to
last one of
sleep.
the quickfire.
Yeah, and so my segment from the quickfire questions is the recommendation station. So, Adam, did you know it's recommended that you give your refrigerator a deep clean every 3 to 4 months?
3 to
how
4
often do you
months?
do that to your refrigerator?
Not 3 to 4 months.
I'm gonna say every 6 months or so. I'm a very clean person. I
Yeah.
like to keep things
Well,
clean.
not clean enough for the
Not
recommendation.
like a super deep clean, but like 2 months ago, I think I took apart my freezer and cleaned the
Ooh,
shit out of
Okay,
it.
Yeah,
okay,
there
he's
you
got,
go.
he's got some
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, I was proud.
We're going to finish off with our news segment. We're going to start off. We're just going to tell you some news, not from here, but from our local areas of the world, and from around the world in general,
This
and
is a-
and just see
This
what
is some of your local areas.
and just see what you think about these news stories coming out.
Yeah, hit me.
So our first local news, our first local news segment, it's called Florida Man. This is where I get you to react to a story that's
about Trump?
fresh out of Florida.
Okay.
So the headline is there a sunken nuclear bomb near Florida? Here's what you need to know. And it turns out that apparently off the coast of Georgia and kind of near Florida, there's potentially a massive nuclear bomb sitting there. Because in 1958, a B-47 bomber took off from Homestead, AFB, Florida, with a 7,600-pound nuclear bomb headed for a training exercise, and it crashed and sunk, and they never salvaged the bomb.
That's really
So,
interesting.
do you feel comfortable knowing that there is a nuclear weapon to be used that's off the coast of Florida, not for foreign agents to come and collect, but for some weird Floridian fishermen to find?
Or weird Floridian fish.
I do actually. I feel like number one, the ignition thing on that, I assume requires a stupid amount of like energy input to actually initiate the explosion. And B, if it was an actual concern, somebody would have done something with it. Like governments, say what you will about them, but they're extremely paranoid. If there's a chance that somebody's gonna steal one of their warheads, they're picking that thing up.
Fair enough. This is my local news story from Nottinghamshire. This actually comes from a village just north of where I grew up in Arnold. This is from Calverton. There was a rare sighting of a wallaby in Nottinghamshire village, but experts say it is a concern.
What?
An extremely rare
About
sighting
what?
of a wallaby has been reported in Nottinghamshire village, but experts say their presence is a cause for concern. The small marsupial, which is native to Australia
Yeah.
and New Guinea, was spotted in Calverton in the early hours of Sunday, July 21st morning.
Yeah, I would also be concerned. That's not where it's supposed to be. Who's gonna clean up the square poop?
I don't know. That's wombats.
Is that wombat?
That's wombats.
Damn.
Unfortunately, there is a picture here. It was at the old colliery site.
Yep.
Coal mining sites, for anyone who doesn't know what a colliery is.
Mm-hmm.
And it was Ben Thompson, who saw the pouched mammal at the colliery site at 5:45, posted a photo in a local Facebook group, which was met with shock by the community.
Yeah.
Many said they had no idea there were wild wallabies in the area, with some questioning the validity of the sighting, and they would be well within their right to, according to the Evening Post.
Yeah, was it a marmot? I don't know what any of those things
it
are,
looks
but like,
wallaby-esque
That is
to me.
clearly a chupacabra.
I'd believe it. I don't know what a wallaby looks like just offhand, but like,
Neither do I. Neither do the people of Galverton,
did
apparently.
it cling to the side of an airplane? Like,
What have we
I
got
don't
else?
trust this.
Well, Dallas, what do you got from your neck of the woods out in Vancouver?
All right, did you know that in, very recently in Vancouver that there was a suspicious fire that caused millions in damages at the Vancouver Walmart?
At the Vancouver what?
At the Vancouver Walmart. It was
The
like
Vancouver Walmart? I'm sure
No.
there's several.
According to the article, it says an East Vancouver Walmart.
Surprisingly, there ain't that much. There's only one at the East Vancouver.
Okay, wait. Now I'm curious. Number one, obviously, that's a lot of damage. Sure. How much product do you think a Walmart carries? Like, what's the value of the product that Walmarts have?
Retail or that they purchased it for?
Retail value.
Oh, God. I would say for a superstore, it's going to be in the millions.
Yeah?
No, probably at least hundreds of thousands.
Yeah, definitely. I'm.
But they've got
oh,
some
man.
high-priced, like if they've got, because you got to think there's a warehouse in the back.
Right,
If
you
that
got a couple
warehouse is
Instant
like,
Pots.
if that, yeah, a couple of, if they got some like OLED TVs or something, 4K, 8K, we've got 8K TVs.
Do you guys
now.
know a Walmart manager?
No.
I
Do
gotta
you?
find one. No, I want to ask. I'd be really curious what the total value of property is in there.
And then,
It'll never not sound suspicious if you ask.
Yeah. No, okay. Good point. I'll ask you. I'll make you guys ask.
And then finally, the local news from back where I'm from in Westman, Manitoba. What do you make of the fact that a tractor and baler went missing in Pipestone, MB, and then was found in a field 34 minutes away in Redvers, MB?
All right. So the tractor.
Hooked up
We
to
were
a baler.
driving the tractor, and then cut to tractors in the lake. That's all I know.
Things are, that's just 34 minutes away. That's 34 minutes away for a car, not 34 minutes away for a tractor.
That's a
towing
long
a bale.
drive.
Like
That's a good point.
we on the way to Alex's family farm from here in Saskatoon, we keep passing like a sign that says like, I think is it Langham? Where,
For what?
The
combine auction? Foam Lake.
Foam
Oh,
Lake.
love that.
And I keep saying I want to enter it to get it for Alex's dad.
And I
Yes,
just want to
I
see
know-
you have
I know
to drive
the
it
auction
home.
you're talking about.
and
I just want to see you drive it to the
Foam
farm.
Lake, and from Foam Lake to the family farm is what? Maybe like 3 hours in the car, 3.5.
4-ish.
Bad.
Yeah.
Closer.
And we've tried to estimate how long
It would be
take.
like 24 hours, even in road gear
So yes,
in a
34
combine.
minutes. So 34
Good.
minutes. Like, how long would that take? Alex, you
Oh, I don't know,
You've driven a
probably a couple hours, I would say. I
and
don't
no
know.
one caught them in this entire time.
I mean, you could just download Farming Simulator and just do it from the comfort of your couch. Put it on real time or like halftime and just.
I guess so. Anyway, well, thank you so much for being on the
Thank you guys.
the
This
podcast.
is fun as heck.
Adam,
I mean, I've had 2
Beitel.
beers, but I've had a good time.
We will give you a little bit of time now, so the rules are off, and no holds barred. Is there anything you want to talk about before the end of this podcast?
Anything you want to plug?
I thought I couldn't talk about music
You
anymore.
can now,
now,
baby.
you free reign now.
Sure.
You made it through the gauntlet.
Prairie Machine makes sick mining machines. Buy mining machines from them if you own a mine.
Yo, I got so many mining machines.
So many.
I can't stop buying mining machines.
No, Banastronauts album Liminal Spaceman is out. You can find it everywhere. Please
It's
listen
fantastic.
to that. Thank
It
you.
is.
My album Until the Sun Erupts. It's Adam Beitel, Beitel. Please go listen to that.
Also
I think it's-
fantastic.
I think it's my greatest accomplishment.
A solid 8,
Yeah.
7.5 out of 10.
Yep. Go listen to everything that local Saskatchewan artists are doing because, it's a smaller market, but man, there's some good stuff out there.
Thank you
That's
very
all I'll
much.
say.
Thank you to Somewhere Else Pub for allowing us to host this here on
Somebody
the
give me
stage
wings.
here.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Thanks so much for listening to the Anything Else by Somewhere Else podcast. Hopefully you keep in.
You'll
keep
get
lis-
that title right someday.
Yeah, we
so
will.
good.
Hopefully you'll keep listening, and we'll catch you next week. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Adam.
Thank you guys. What a day.